Hello, and welcome. Today we're going to talk a little bit about Dune, but before we get to that, I just want to remind everybody that Sunsworn Edge of Annihilation is funding on Indiegogo right now. This is my novel. It's science fantasy, and it's my attempt to kind of rekindle the love for the genre, bring it back. And yeah, I'd appreciate if you check it out. We are fully funded, but obviously we would like as much as possible so we can get rolling on the next project as soon as possible, which will likely be Sunsworn Comics. So 2 backers away from 100. That's awesome. I thank everybody who has donated already. You'll find a link for this in the description below. If you're interested, please give it a look. Thank you. Now, the real reason for today's video is this. From Bounding into Comics, we have director of Dune, David Lynch, has zero interest in seeing Denis Villeneuve's version, and we'll see why. Dune director David Lynch recently detailed that he has zero interest in seeing this upcoming adaptation of Frank Herbert's novel. Lynch was asked about Villeneuve's Dune in a wide-ranging interview about what the director is up to during the C word, beer virus lockdown, and where he sees society moving following the pandemic. God, this is annoying. The censorship of words, ridiculous. The Hollywood Reporter's Seth Abramovich asked Lynch if he had seen the photos from Villeneuve's Dune that were released via Vanity Fair last week. Lynch responded, "I have zero interest in Dune." When asked why, he explained, "Because it was a heartache for me. It was a failure, and I didn't have final cut." That always seems to be a problem with directors, right? Man, I mean, look at the release, the Snyder Cut thing that's been going on for the longest time. And admittedly, the director's cut of Batman vs. Superman was better. So I really think, I don't know, I think the studios need to listen more to the directors. But yeah, I guess maybe that's a video for another time, eh? He says, "I've told this story a billion times. It's not the film I wanted to make. I like certain parts of it very much, but it was a total failure for me." I can understand that as a creative person, man. If you're not allowed to have, put your final take on things, I can understand why you might think something like that. But I'm going to play part of this interview, and we're going to hear David Lynch's own words.
But maybe 75% nightmare. And the reason is I didn't have final cut. I had such a great time in Mexico City, the greatest crew, cast, it was beautiful. But when you don't have final cut, and I knew this already, but why did I do it? I don't know. But when you don't have final cut, total creative freedom, you stand to die the death. Die the death. And died I did. When you have a failure, like they say, there's nowhere to go but up.
That's just heartbreaking, man. To hear things like that. Yeah, so I said it wasn't a total nightmare, maybe 75%. They're just reiterating everything that we just heard David Lynch say. But when Lynch was pressed on whether or not he would be interested in seeing someone else adapt Dune by THR, Lynch responded, "I have zero interest. Villeneuve's Dune has already made it clear he'll be making some significant changes to Herbert's source material." Now, this is another point of contention here. The most notable change is the casting of Sharon Duncan Brewster as Leah Kynes, which race swaps and gender swaps that character. Now, this has been a hot button issue, not just in Dune, but in everything as of late. Everything. When you just race swap or gender swap, a lot of people get upset because they're not staying true to the character. When you do both like this, that's a real problem, and people are going to be pissed. They're already pissed. People have been raising hell about this for some time, and I can understand why. Again, it goes back to the original argument. If you want this kind of character, make your own story with this kind of character. Now, that's one of the reasons why I went ahead and made Sunsworn, because because of my dislike of The Last Jedi, I got that a lot. Well, if you didn't like it, why don't you make your own story? So I went ahead and did that to demonstrate that it can be done and that it can be successful. So unfortunately, major companies, major studios, don't seem to be able to do that and be successful. I don't know how someone like me can do that, but someone like, a giant multi-billion-dollar company is having issues with it. Maybe you need decent writers. Maybe you just suck. It says, now, not only has the character been race swapped and gender swapped, but Brewster indicates the changes were done because Villanova wanted to write a role for a woman, and that there was a lack of female characters in the cast. Well, that's the story, brother. If you don't like the story, maybe don't get involved. That's my first thought. But, yeah, it wasn't good enough for him. She told Vanity Fair what Denis had stated to me was there was a lack of female characters in his cast, and he had always been very feminist, pro-woman, and wanted to write the role for a woman. She elaborated, this human being manages to basically keep the peace amongst many people. Women are very good at that, so why can't Kynes be a woman? Why shouldn't Kynes be a woman? Well, because that's not how Kynes was written originally. And, it's not just women that are good at that, sister. Anybody, any human being can be good at that, provided that you have the skills necessary. You have the diplomatic skills. You learn those skills over time. It also takes a certain amount of empathy, I believe. Any human is capable of this. So it's not solely a female trait. And that in and of itself, I believe to be sexist. And all of this is just, oh God. It's just the same shit over and over and over again. Rebecca Ferguson, who plays Lady Jessica and the mother of Paul Atreides, also hinted at Villanova's film pushing a feminist message when she stated, quote, Denis is very respectful of Frank's work in the book, but the quality of the arcs for much of the women have been brought up to a new level. There were some shifts he did, and they are beautifully portrayed now. Implying they weren't before. Still expected to be released in December of this year. I guess we'll see if that happens or not, depending on what, the state of things, the state of the world, actually. Can't even just say the country. But yeah, let me know what you think of all this. Yeah, Lynch is not happy. He doesn't care. It's not that he's not happy. He don't give a shit. As I'm sure many others do not really care. At this point, they keep doing these things. They keep making us not care. And then when you stop caring, suddenly you're a racist or you're a sexist. Oh, why aren't you throwing money at this? Well, because we don't fucking care. We don't care. That's why. And neither does David Lynch. So, yeah, give me your take in the comments below. Let me know what you think of this video. Let me know what you think of this article. Let me know what you think of Lynch being completely apathetic to viewing the new Dune. And, yeah, let me know about all this feminist and race, gender swapping stuff that continues to go on, regardless of how many adaptations fail because of stupid stuff like this. Yeah, let me know. Sound off in the comments. If you're not already a member of the Gaze community, please do hit that subscribe button. Join today. Please check out Sunsworn in the links below. And thank you, as always, for watching. Make sure you tune into the Gaze community for live streams. And yeah, I hope you have a great Tuesday. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.